Welcome to Tales Beyond the Grave and welcome back to another video. And we're here today in Middleton at St Leonard's Church. Just behind us we've got Lee from Grave Interests. He's seen his videos, and we've got Daft Monkey from YouTube as well. So we're just going to tell you a bit about the area of Middleton, a bit of the church. I'm going to take you down and show you where the grave robber used to reside. Today we're in Middleton, about 5 miles from the centre of Manchester, and the name comes from being the centre of several settlements. Around 616, Anglo-Saxon king crossed the Pennines, passing through Manchester to defeat the Celts at Chester, the Battle of Chester. And what they did, the Anglican colonists settled in different areas of Manchester, and the name ton or town, you get like a lot around Manchester. You get Royton with a T-O-N on the end, Moston, Ashton and Middleton, and ton means town, and there was 3 different villages or settlements there, and this was the middle one, so that's where you get the name of Middleton. In 1770, Middleton was a village of just 20 houses, but started to expand in the 17th and 18th century. And grew into a thriving, popular area and become the centre of commerce. On the silk, cotton spinning mills popped up everywhere, and as you can see, that's the Church of St Leonard's where we're going to take you in a minute. And it coming into an industrial scale, and silk, cotton spinning mills, and they continue through the 20th century. And it's also known for its famous flannel and cloth production as well. So I'm going to tell you story now of the grave robber what lives just down there. There's a little place called Kanky's Ginnel, and Kanky was a grave robber, and what he used to do was he lived in a house on the Ginnel, and he used to watch for people being freshly buried, and he'd see who was being buried first, and then during the night he'd go and with his lantern up and dig up the corpse, and he proceeded to take him down the Ginnel in the middle of the night and over to the River Irk, where he had a little boat waiting for him. But I'm just going to show you where the boat and the Ginnel is now. So I'm taking you down to the area known as Kanky's Ginnel, famous round here. Been a lot of ghost hunts and that down on the Ginnel, but it's to do with the old man called Kanky, and what he did was dig up the corpses, the freshly buried corpses. He'd wait on his doorstep with his pipe and his lantern at night, and he'd go in the middle of the night with darkness and cover of night to go and dig up these bodies. And he'd use this Ginnel as sort of like cover, where he'd throw, he was only stood about 4'5" or something like that, only little hunchback geezer, which he would have looked like a gargoyle, I should imagine, off a church. But this is Kanky's Ginnel, and this is where he would have carried the bodies down to the river. So the freshly buried corpse was dug up, and he'd throw it over his shoulder and make his way down to the Irk. And now the reason why he chose the River Irk, because he had a boat waiting for him there, and he'd sail it into Manchester, where he would sell the body to the doctors and surgeons of the time, who would pay good money for a fresh corpse, really, so they could do testing and surgery, because don't forget, doctoring and surgery was in its embryo stages then. It wasn't as we see them today, so they had to learn somewhere. So Kanky had take this body down this Ginnel, and he'd already have a buyer waiting for the corpse in Manchester. And this is the area he would have lived in. I mean, it's overgrown now, it's all sort of like industrial now, but that's looking up the Ginnel. Where he lived I'm not too sure, but he would have sat on his doorstep watching who was being freshly buried that day. only to return at the night and dig the corpse back up. The Ginnel, these buildings there now, but the Ginnel would have led right down to this river. This is the River Irk, and Kanky would have had his boat ready to throw the corpse in and sail it down the River Irk, starting from here. I'll take you over the road and show you the other side of it, and they've sailed it into Manchester, or rowed it into Manchester. So as you can see, this is the other side of the road, and the River Irk picks up a bit of pace here, as you can see. Kanky would have been rowing his boat across here. Down, can't actually take you right round because it goes into like an industrial area of Middleton. But this river leads right into Manchester, just near the Angel Meadow, and this is where Kanky would have had somebody waiting for him, probably the surgeons, to take the corpse off him. So Kanky, or Old Kanky, or it's a pronunciation of Old Kanky, would have lived along here somewhere, and his house was so run down, and people had not been, nobody had ever been in his house. And he said when he used to walk past, the smell from it was awful. He'd never bathed, never washed. He wouldn't allow people in his house. And the day they found him dead, they'd not seen him for a bit, so a couple of neighbours kicked down the door to see if he was okay, and they found him dead on a pile of coal with a shovel. He'd been shoveling coal to probably keep warm, and they said the smell from the house was horrendous. He'd already had warnings off the council for uncleanliness and unpleasantness when his door would open, but old Kanky lived like an hermit, like a tramp. But as he took his body out and went through his house, he found large amounts of money which he'd saved, and you wouldn't have thought by looking at him that he'd have had this amount of large money in his old smelly house, but he did, and he didn't spend a penny. He said that he'd never washed for 20 years as well. So poor old Kanky, what became of him? Nobody knows. His family was from round here, and he had the surname of Lancashire, and his mother was buried in the churchyard where we're going, but we don't know if there's a grave there. We don't know if old Kanky's buried there either, but we should imagine if he was buried anyway, he would have been buried with his mother in the family grave. But this is, like I say, the graveyard of St Leonard, and I'm going to take you up and show you a bit more about it now. So this is the fabulous St Leonard's Parish Church in Middleton, and it's a Grade 1 listed building, and much of the present building was erected in 1412 by Thomas Langley, who was a Bishop of Durham and Lord Chancellor of England. And he reused part of the old church what once stood here, the Norman doorway from an earlier structure, to create the tower arch. And also distinctive to the area is the weather-boarded top stage of the tower, which you can see, and that is only designed in Middleton. So if ever you see a church which has one of them on the top, which is a wooden structure, it's distinctive to the Middleton area of Manchester. It's really strange because you don't often see them, especially they don't look safe, but it must be solid oak or something like that, because it's not fell down. So it's a great, absolute stunning church this, and I'll show you around it because it's really, really old in part, and it's almost castle-esque, this church. It does actually look like a castle, and it was enlarged in 1524 by Sir John Assheton to celebrate his knighthood, and he was granted to him by King Henry VIII for his part in the Battle of Flodden in 1513. And the Battle of Flodden was fought during the War of Cumbria between the Kingdom of England and the Kingdom of Scotland, resulting in victory for the England. Nice, lovely church. So if ever you come, it's really well kept. The grounds are fantastic. The graveyard, as you can see over there, is quite overgrown now. But I'm going to take you around here and tell you a bit about the Flodden window, what's inside the church, and it's said to be the oldest war memorial in the world, or in the UK. But look at this, how old it looks. It just looks like battlements from a medieval castle. And the windows commemorated to the Middleton archers, or the longbowmen who fought at Flodden. And the Middleton archers were the king's own royal archers, and they were from the area too. And what they were longbowmen. The archers who made the bows out of yew, the yew tree. Absolutely the elite of the king's army with the Middleton bowmen. Inside the church is one of the finest brasses in the north of England, depicting an English Civil War officer in full armour, and the Cavaliers, the Roundheads and the Cavaliers. And also in the extended graveyard, which is over there, are the graves of mill owners and cotton mill owners, silk, flannel and calico. So it's you can see some of the big monuments are probably to the mill owners who once sort of like thrived in the area of Middleton. If you ever come to St Leonard's Church, you've got to have a walk around. I'd love to see inside it, because I say it's got some fantastic brasses, some fantastic monuments in there, which is envy. They're an envy to people who are into your churches and that. If you can't get in to see them, you want to get in. That's what I want to do. I want to get in and see these brasses and these windows. I'm going to take you to the archway which was used from the original build of the church before 1412. So before this church was built in 1412, there once stood an Anglo-Saxon chapel here, and when they built this church, St Leonard's, this is the archway they used from the original. So this archway is really truly ancient. I mean, 1412, what's that, 612 years old, this church, and that archway predates 1412. I'll take you in and show you the inside without banging the camera. I'll try and get you in to have a look inside. It is gated up. We'll get you in. Sorry about the camera work. I've done quite well then. I expected to crack the camera or something. Definitely worth coming to Middleton. You're only 5 miles outside of Manchester. Get into Middleton and find St Leonard's Church and come round and have a look at this fantastic ancient monument, over 600-year-old. That's the extended graveyard, and it only looks small from here, but actually a lot of it is undercover. There's lots of weeds in there which covering most of the graves, as well as down here. I didn't know about this section down here, but it is, you can see why they had to, because when Middleton was only a small hamlet really, the growth of the Industrial Revolution, seeing more people come to the area, so they would have extended the cemetery to cater for the many people with parishioners that come to the area and die. But all that there, you can see all this scrubland here is all hidden graves in there too. So you've got a lot of graves here. I mean, that one's 99. Probably long forgotten people, relatives, once parishioners of this church. 1700s. 1747 is quite a lot of burials just outside. Some of these you can't actually make out. 1619. So this has been St Leonard's Church in Middleton. I'll look around it. Fantastic church, Grade 1 listed, and also the gruesome story of old Kanky and Kanky's Ginnel just down there. I hope you've enjoyed that. So I'm going to end the video here now. Can't believe how nice it's been today. It's usually raining when I'm doing these videos, so it's a bonus that it's not raining today. So thanks for watching Tales Beyond the Grave. Please subscribe if you'd like. You don't have to do, but it just encourages me to come out and make videos which I think are interesting, which you might like. So I'm going to say give us a thumbs up if you like the video. Let us know if you didn't like the video, and I'm going to move on to the next one now, but I don't know where I'm going, but I'll see you when I get there. Thanks for watching.